Good evening, everyone. I will call this meeting of the Albany City Council to order. And Councilmember Lopez, can you please read our land acknowledgement?
Yes. The City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lujan. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to this indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationship with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home.
Thank you. And City Clerk, can we please call the roll?
Councilmember Hanson Romero is out. Councilmember Jordan.
Here.
Councilmember Lopez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mickey.
Here.
Mayor Tiedemann.
Here. With that, we will move to our ceremonial matters, which will start with a recognition for our Albany High School student athletes and coaches. I will go to the podium in a sec to hand the representatives, and you can all gather up there, but this was partly inspired by an update we got on the cross-country team, which we understand had a lot of individuals who took very impressive places at the state meet just last Saturday. They're certainly doing even better than they were when I was on the cross-country team, probably because I'm not on it any longer. And we wanted to have a chance to recognize both those students and their coaches, as well as other coaches and representatives of all of our Albany High School sports. So if all of you who are here to represent that want to come up to the front, and I believe I'm presenting the certificates to Yvonne, and meet me up there. Come on up. And afterwards, we can take a photo in front of the dais if you want. So these are your certificates of recognition, which the City of Albany and Albany City Council commends the Albany High School athletic coaches in recognition of leadership and support to student athletes. And we have another that recognizes and commends Albany High School student athletes. So all of you, thank you all for joining us tonight. And if you want to say a few words, please go ahead.
Albany Sports has had a big uptick the last few years in recognition as far as the state level. We actually had our runner, Lucas Cohen, run at Nationals this past Saturday and placed 24th, which was amazing. It's the first time we've had a student run at that event, and he did really well. So we also have a lot of other teams that are doing really well this season. So thank you for this.
Any other coaches or anything who want to say? Go ahead.
I'm here to represent the Albany High School girls tennis team. Third season in a row, undefeated champions, and made it to the state. So thank you so much for the recognition. It's very, very nice to see that we have a very athletic mayor and everybody. So kudos to you, sir.
Patrick Chen. I'm the first-year head coach of the girls golf team for Albany High. This is the third year in a row we won the regular season championship, and then we had two girls qualify for NCS, and actually we, as a team, we were the alternates for NCS. So, thank you.
Fun stuff for us, so fun to commemorate. The other members of the council want to come down?
I guess you want to hold the student.
Come on up. All right, moving to our next ceremonial item. We are tonight recognizing another graduating class of our Community and Emergency Response Team graduates, or CERT. And I will turn it over to our fire chief to introduce and talk about what the class has done.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, Council, especially for all your support and encouragement for CERT, with even providing funding so we could do compensation for our instructors. The CERT program is fantastic. They help me rest a little bit easier at night knowing that we have a large group of volunteers that are willing to go out and help their neighbors prepare to be more resilient. And then when something happens, they're there to make sure themselves, their families, the neighborhood, and the next neighborhoods over are safe as well. So our community as a whole. Volunteerism is one of the most incredible things you can do to make the community better. And these folks have volunteered the last 8 weeks of their lives going through training. This is the second class of 2023. They are now ready to help the community and join the tradition of helping the community that CERT is. A couple of the big items that happened this year was during the January storms. We had a large number of CERT members that took care of all of the leaves in their gutters and storm drains, leaving it so that Public Works can concentrate on a developing sinkhole during that time. So for us as the fire department, they're going to help us, not if, but when the earthquake happens, doing damage assessments, making sure, like I said, all their neighbors are safe, and letting us concentrate, and the police department to concentrate on, and Public Works on the true life-saving and truly, highly dangerous type of situations. So, thank you all for doing what you just went through. I would like to commend, excuse me, Captain Tim Smizer. He runs our community preparedness and resiliency programs. Engineer Mike Robb, about 8 years ago, took this program under his wing and has taken it to a level where, and you'll see in our short video we have, there is smoke, darkness, rain, thunder, wind sounds that go on inside the apparatus bay. We clear everything out of there, and they go through all the different skill sets that they worked on and demonstrate they have a working proficiency of them. Along with Mike, we have our CERT instructor extraordinaire, Susan Yeaman. And then Albany CERT Incorporated president and co-instructor, Blake Yeaman. Feel free to come up and give some comments about this wonderful group of folks that went through this.
Yeah, it's first of all about this CERT program. I'll tell you, and everybody works very hard. Our whole team and the people that give up their time to help protect their neighborhood and their families. So that's what it's about. The CERT program, when Mike had done it, he had gotten about 100 CERT graduates through the Albany program. We've added about 45, maybe a little more. Some people have to complete, but in that range. So it takes time, though. When people haven't done it for a while, they got to be refreshed because you lose these skills over time. So some of our CERT graduates have spontaneously started a CERT refresher program, getting their own groups of 15 people have gone through these just recently in the last month of refreshing their skills where they have to teach the other people how to do it and get themselves back on. And they're all exclaiming how powerful it is for them to reattach themselves to these, how these techniques and things work. So we're working also with the Albany CERT Inc. group. We're working on trying to tie up together the block captain program, reinvigorate that. They fit in a slightly different way. They're not doing the emergency response, but they're preparing the neighborhood and the families so they have the resilience, the water, the food, the things they need in their house properly structured. So thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for supporting the program. It's hugely valuable when that time comes, and it will at some point. Thanks.
And I just want to say that it is such a thrill to teach citizens who are so enthusiastic. I mean, the energy is infectious, and I love that our recent graduates have gotten graduates from years ago, from when Michael was teaching, to come back and do the refresher, and they're like, we want more, we want more. So we're hoping that this will snowball so that it's not just 8 weeks, you graduate and you forget it. Because if you don't keep the skills fresh, it's not as impactful. It would still be useful, but it's even more useful if we can have them refresh it. So the support that we get from the city and from the fire department is immeasurable. And thank you all for your hard work and enthusiasm.
All right, we have a short video that will show, because a picture is worth a lot more words than me talking about it.
Thank you, Council. Here's a short little minute and 45-second video of what our CERT graduates did during their time with us. I would like to hand out some certificates to the graduates. Thank you.
We have Sue Broken. Clifford Colby. Reese Hiltner. Melissa Hobbs-Schmidt. Kristen Crusoe. Joe Mulligan. Edna Prieto. Craig Pusser. How Quinn. Jim Quinn. Mary Spence. Mark Timken. And Jan Stevenson. And we'll get this one to there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you all so much.
All right. And one last thing before photo. The disaster service worker oath will be given now. Sure.
I'll take that if you want.
You want to make sure you can see that, yeah. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you so much.
Yeah, do a quick picture? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our CERT class, and congratulations on graduating. Comments?
They're out of here.
With that, we will move to our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I am pleased to share that we have a new activity guide that has been posted on our website, mailed to all addresses within the city, and also is available for pickup at city facilities. It provides a summary of information from all city departments, and also a great, vast, wide variety of recreational programming for all of our Albany community members of kindergarten, preschool, up until senior activities. So please take advantage of these wonderful opportunities and learn more about our local happenings, including some events that are forthcoming. We're really excited about having a movie theater in our public park and Memorial Park to hope to create that same shared space and celebrate the arts. There's a few other newer events also noted in this guide, so please check your mailbox for this to be forthcoming and also online. One of these events for parents is a Parents' Night Out under the supervision and coordination of our Friendship Club staff. We host a Parent Night Out. So if this is something that may be supporting your needs, please take advantage of this. It will be on December 8th from 6 to 9:30 at the community center. And the kids get to play with each other, enjoy activities, a movie, some dinner, and parents get a little break. The Friends of Albany Seniors will be having their annual White Elephant Sale coming up. Great opportunity for holiday shopping. This will be held on December 9th from 9 to 2 p.m. A little bit of everything at this event, so please support our local senior center. Echo Housing will be providing a fair housing training for our rent review and debt relief programs. This is an online training to discuss fair housing laws and respond to questions. It will be held Friday, December 15th from 10 to 12 p.m. And you can visit the Echo Fair Housing website to register, which is echofairhousing.org. We had a site walk visit on Albany Hill on December 3rd. Over 50 people attended, so significant program and event on the Hill to provide input, learn about the habitat and all of the environmental challenges and opportunities as we do forward-thinking planning for the Albany Hill and surrounding natural habitat. You can learn more about this as we regularly update our website on this topic and ongoing program and project, albanyca.org/albany-hill. If you've noticed, our winter lawn refresh program is underway, meaning that the majority of our park and open space green areas is fenced off. Please help us maintain these important recreational areas while the grass is in much need of a little revitalization and aeration so that it can be enjoyable for the upcoming sunnier days. The City of Albany pilot program was featured in Smart Cities Dive article. As we've noted in earlier conversations here in Council, a community development pilot program, which was recently awarded a $200,000 grant by the U.S. Department of Energy, was featured in an article by Smart Cities Dive. The program, currently in its beginning phase, is looking at decommissioning a gas system of an entire Albany block. The city is really looking forward to the prospects of this program. Again, I'd like to recognize Councilmember Jordan for helping with the infancy stages of this program and ongoing support. More to come on this as we continue to move it along, and certainly we'll return this item to the council once we have some more next steps. A reminder that we have a Strollish event coming up, including a winter holiday market this Sunday. So please take advantage of this local opportunity to support all of our local businesses on Solano Avenue this Sunday, December 10th. Both Picnic Holiday Makers Market and Strollish will be on Solano. A little bit of everything to celebrate the holidays there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for that report. Are there any council members with follow-up questions? Seeing none, we will go to the public. Public will have 1 minute to ask questions about items on the city manager's report. If you are waiting for the open public comment period, that is coming up next. Do we have any members online?
No online members.
Anyone in the room? Seeing none, we will move forward to good of the city. This is for persons desiring to address the city council on any item that's not on the agenda. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes, and due to the limitations of state law known as the Brown Act, we are not allowed to discuss substantively items that are not on the agenda. Therefore, they will normally be referred to staff or for a future agenda item. And in this and all public comment, please address your comments to the city council and speak with respect to your fellow commenters and everyone else, as we want people to feel comfortable making their comment. And I see we have someone in the room.
Thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate the city council. I really like seeing you in real life. This is really, really good. So just a really minor thing. I appreciate that the FAA has a complaint online for noise, because we've been noticing on Nextdoor, if you've been on that social media, the noise, there just seemed to be an incessant wee hours of the morning, anywhere from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. or even into the early mornings. I don't know if anybody else has heard it, but it's been a buzz a bit on Nextdoor. So the good thing is there is an FAA website that we can make a noise complaint, but then the train blaring noise at weird hours, we don't know who to complain to. So if you could help us figure that out, that would be awesome. I guess I could shoot an email to you guys, so at least, you know, I can follow up if you happen to know who we would contact and file noise complaints, because it's not only a violation of the city's noise ordinance, but it's a violation of our space. So, I mean, it was so bad, even at 5 p.m., there were 2 helicopters just circling. Just when one of them would fade, another one would circle and come in, and it's just endless. So I don't know if anybody else lives on the hill, but that's been a buzz, at least at the Hillside residents. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else in the room? Seeing none, we'll check online. Anyone online?
Go ahead, commenter.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello.
Hi, are you unmuted for Debbie Rosenfeld?
Yes,
Oh,
we can
yes,
hear
thank
you.
you. Hello, I'm Debbie Rosenfeld. I have lived in Albany for more than 26 years, and I've been a homeowner in Albany for more than 19, and I care deeply about our community. I've raised both of our daughters in Albany and moved to Albany because I felt the city's values aligned with my family's values, in particular involving the importance of access to a great education for all students and being concerned about the physical and mental health of our children. I feel strongly that the Albany City Council should act on 2 fronts. There are stores in Albany that are in violation of Albany's laws to not sell flavored tobacco products, and cigar products must be sold in packs of at least 20 for a minimum of $8. The new Stop and Go store on San Pablo has been selling many flavors of cigars in packs of 5 in addition to flavored vapes. The first step is to enforce laws that are already in existence. After that, I would like to see the Albany City Council move toward the elimination of the sale of tobacco products in Albany. I feel strongly that Albany's laws should reflect the city's values. I have a daughter who is a junior in college and a daughter who is a junior at Albany High School. Vaping is a big problem at Albany High School. My daughters report that even during the school day, particularly in the bathrooms, vaping is a big problem. Everyone should be allowed to go to the bathroom without being overcome with smoke. And of course, vaping is causing long-term health problems for our children. The damage that is being done now may be irreversible. Please uphold the current Albany laws regarding tobacco sales, stop issuing business licenses for new stores to sell tobacco products, and let's move towards being a tobacco-free city. Albany is the perfect city to be a leader in such an important goal and will be a major step towards supporting the health of youth in Albany. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, my name's JJ. I'm a new resident to Albany and actually a new US citizen. So I was able to register to vote for the first time really in my adult life as an Albany resident. And, you know, my first step was kind of to look around and see who are the local politicians who my values might align with, and I might consider giving my vote to in the future, as well as, you know, state and national politicians. And I guess to cut to the chase, with the times we're living in, and now as a new US citizen, my my tax dollars going to a bomb, you know, and kill thousands of civilians halfway around the world. I feel some kind of responsibility to engage with the politicians who all the way up the food chain decide where my tax dollars go. So I reached out to you all asking, you know, urging you to maybe introduce a resolution similar to that in Richmond, calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Unfortunately, I only got one response from Councilmember Lopez, so I appreciate that, Councilmember. Thank you for your response, and thank you for your statement in support of the ceasefire calls. I don't really know how much more to add, rehashing kind of the various facts and figures of what is the fastest and most bloody carnage that we have seen in this century. 200 air raids just yesterday after the ceasefire was ended abruptly. You know, if people are concerned about the release of the hostages, as they should be, the ceasefire is the best option. There can only be peace after a ceasefire, by definition, and we have a responsibility as Americans to speak to the governments we support, and right now we are wholeheartedly supporting the government of Israel in their genocidal campaign against the Palestinians. This is not hyperbole. The majority of genocide scholars support that if genocide is not already happening, it is on the verge of happening. The Israeli government issuing constant genocidal statements of intent, dehumanization, and admission of the acts that they're carrying out. So I urge you all to make some kind of public statement and maybe respond to your new constituents when they email you, which is not too hard. I've had many responses in the past. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
No further commenters.
With that, we will move to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion unless otherwise specified. By approving the consent calendar, we approve the staff recommendation, and there'll be no separate discussion on any of these items unless a member of the public or member of the council requests it. Are there any members of the council who would like to pull an item from consent for further discussion? Seeing none, we will go to the public. Are there any members of the public who would like to pull an item for further discussion? This is just to flag the item, not to make your comment on it. We'll go to that in just a moment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I was actually trying to raise my hand for public comment. I'm not sure if now is the appropriate time to say that.
I'm seeing the same name on Zoom, but is this a separate user from the last user from Good of the City?
I'm not sure why, but I'm a separate person.
Then we can reopen Good of the City and go back to that briefly, and you can make your comment, and then we will go back to the consent calendar.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I would also like to echo the constituent that came before me. I'm a new resident to Albany. I have come from Berkeley. I'm a first-generation American, and I have been, like many people, so deeply troubled by what's happening in Palestine, Israel. My grandfather is Palestinian. My parents moved to this country to provide myself and my siblings with a better life. I know that we know this country was built on immigrants. And it's been deeply disheartening to see that no public comment has been made by the council members. I can see one of the council members, I believe it's Council Member Lopez, has a ceasefire now t-shirt. I'm disappointed to hear the constituent that came before me say that they had emailed and no one had replied. I would urge the council to not only make public comments and respond to their constituents, but pass a resolution like the one in Richmond, like the one that's being debated in Berkeley, like the one in Oakland, asking for a ceasefire now. It is not okay for us as a public, as taxpayers, to co-sign on the bombs that are ripping children apart. I know that I am not alone in our small, but hopefully mighty 20,000 person population in feeling absolutely stunned and desperate at the images that I'm seeing day in and day out. And more concerning is the silence from the people who are supposed to represent us. I will be voting next year and for as long as I am a constituent in Albany, and I am paying very close attention to the actions of our elected representatives. So I'm asking to please make a public comment and draft a resolution to ask for a ceasefire now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. That we will return to the consent calendar. Are there any other members of the public who would like to make comment on a specific item of the consent calendar? Seeing none, I will look for a motion.
I'll move passage of the consent calendar.
Second.
There has been a motion and a second. City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mickey,
Yes.
Mayor Tiedemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That will bring us to our first item of business tonight, which is a public hearing. Item 9.1, an appeal of Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Commission's decision regarding a non-emergency tree street removal application at 1444 Portland Avenue. I will throw it to staff.
I'm John Hawkridge. I'm the urban forester for the city. Next advance slide. Tonight we're here to talk about 1444 Portland Avenue, non-emergency street tree removal application was submitted by the property owner. We went to the Pros Commission in October, and they upheld our recommendation to deny the application. The property owner is appealing this tonight. Next. So in Albany, we consider trees for removal for various reasons. One, if they pose a risk to the public, if they're diseased or damaged beyond reclamation, if they cause infrastructure damage that cannot be repaired without tree removal, if they cause repeated infrastructure damage that has been previously repaired, such as sidewalk, or if they're in conflict with an approved city project. Applications are evaluated by the staff. We determine if it qualifies for removal under the criteria as outlined in the city tree removal policy and procedures. If it does qualify, we present it to the Parks and Recreation Open Space Commission, generally on a quarterly basis. If a removal is something that is a risk to public safety, it's considered an emergency removal, and we act on that immediately. Basically, dead or actively falling trees qualify as emergency removal. Next slide. So when we brought when we brought the tree to Pros in October, we had the tree evaluated. There were several issues with the tree, but all trees have some kind of issues, so we looked a little more closely at it. We were a little borderline on this, so we brought in Hort Science to do a third-party evaluation of the tree, and their evaluation found the tree to be in fair condition. There's good major branching structure, so we weren't too concerned about large limbs falling out of the tree. they found the tree to have good vigor, which with a liquid amber tree is sometimes part of the problem, part of the issue with these trees. They're very aggressively growing trees. Next slide. So part of their recommendation was to remove a limb that was in contact with the service drop that was going to the neighbor's property, and also to do some general remedial pruning on it to reduce the risk of limbs falling out of the tree. So here you see before and after. The after picture, you can see the tree's kind of compacted a little bit, raised up. The limb over the service drop was removed, and the height of the tree was lessened a little bit. Next. So this tree, as with many liquid amber trees, has a history of limb failure. This picture shows a stub that was left from a limb that fell out, broke out in 2017. 2022, there was another branch that landed on the property owner's vehicle. And 2023, there was another large limb that broke out after we did the remedial pruning, the risk reduction pruning, which gave us more concern about this tree. Originally, I looked at this with the property owner, and he told me, that part of the tree's dying. But when I looked more closely, I realized this was just a broken limb that was hanging up in the tree. Next slide. So here, 2022, here's a picture of one of our Public Works guys taking a limb off the car that it fell on. The other picture, the red arrow, shows where PG&E did some pruning to reduce the strain on secondary power lines that was happening there, and the limb fell out a couple months after that. Next. And here is a limb that broke off and was hanging in the tree, and I took this picture after the pros meeting. I was out there to talk to the property owner, and he pointed out this limb that was dying back, and when I took a closer look, you can see on the right side of the photo where this limb actually broke out, and I could see this was a good 6 or so inch diameter limb just sitting up, caught up on some other limbs in the tree. One thing about all of these limb failures, these were all healthy green limbs. There wasn't decay. It wasn't where we have, a lot of times limbs will break out where there's included bark, where there's a tight angle of the limbs growing together and they start to push against each other. But again, this is sort of typical of a liquid amber tree. They experience sudden limb drop. That's an actual term for trees like this, and blue gum eucalyptus do a similar thing. Unexpectedly, they'll drop limbs. Next slide. So that made us more concerned about this tree, being that we did the remedial pruning, yet we're still having limb failure on the tree. Part of the problem with liquid amber trees, or part of their character, is that once they start dropping limbs, they continue to drop limbs, and sometimes more frequently. This one's starting to exhibit the more frequent limb drop. We do the remedial pruning to try to prevent that, to try to lessen that, but here we see that even after remedial pruning, we still had some limb drop. So we looked a little further into the tree, and I found some pictures in our archives, in the city archives, of the sidewalk in 2015. This was repaired in 2016 as part of the Phase 0 sidewalk, the beginning of our sidewalk repair program. And here I have two pictures comparing to last week is the other picture, and what it looked like in 2015. Next slide. So we in taking a closer look at this, I noticed a couple things. For one thing, there's continued lifting of the sidewalk, even after this tree was root pruned. And you can see some severe root pruning on this tree. There were some major roots that were lifting the sidewalk originally in 2015-16 that were pruned. Now they're, see this, the healing over the roots, but this is that root aggressively growing back, and this is only 7 years after, but this root's been growing constantly since the root pruning. You can see an offset of the sidewalk also. The sidewalk is kind of shifted as the root grows and the root crown grows, the root plate grows out. It's pushing the sidewalk over a bit. And you can see the lift. There's about an inch or so lift across the sidewalk, again, from the continual growth of the roots. Next. Here is a comparison. And I'm talking about the root plate on the tree. You can see the picture on the right is now, and the picture on the left is, again, the picture from 2015. These trees have aggressive root growth. The root plate keeps expanding. The roots expand. Even after pruning in this picture on the right, you can see where that one major cut was. There were a couple other cuts over on the side of this tree too. So this is what's causing continued sidewalk damage and will continue to further damage the sidewalk. Next. Here again, you can see the roots. Where you see these visible surface roots, they were pruned at that point, but they're still pushing. You can see the sidewalk has is shifted over towards the property here. Next slide. In this picture, you can see where the lifted sidewalk is once again. The blue arrows are just pointing to surface roots. Up at the top, there are a couple large surface roots that are running into the front yard of the property that are causing some issues with being able to maintain a lawn, being able to mow, being able to walk in the front yard at all. Next slide, please. And this is just a close-up of these surface roots in the front lawn. Next. And there are a couple other issues that the property owner brought up. One thing, it's a little bit hard to see, but the roots are actually growing along the curb and pushing the gutter away from the curb. There's a root growing diagonally in that length of the curb there. And there's also some problems with the water meter is starting to be pushed up, and apparently in the past there was some problems with the water line at this property because of tree roots. There's a little bit of, in the bottom corner you can see a little bit of lifting in the gutter also from the tree roots, and there's a little bit of curb damage here too. Next slide. So with revisiting this tree, reviewing it again, and especially after seeing the limb drop after we did what we were expecting would prevent this, at this point our recommendation is to approve the removal of this tree. Basically, it qualifies for removal per our removal policy and procedure criteria. Criteria B, which is due to its own physical condition, it's determined to be an unacceptable risk to the city. A tree that is dropping large limbs should be considered an unacceptable risk to the city. The criteria C, the tree has damaged the adjacent sidewalk to an extent that it constitutes a tripping hazard, and it's been repaired once previously within the past 7 years. Basically, we're hoping that a sidewalk will last 10 years after a sidewalk repair, a minimum of 10 years. And criteria E, determined by the Pros Commission or Urban Forester to be detrimental to public safety or materially injurious. So again, this tree is lifting the sidewalk. There's risk with the sidewalk there. The tree's dropping limbs. These are all detrimental to public safety. The property owner also brought up the issue of liability with this tree. In Albany, it's a little unclear at this point. We're hoping our street tree management plan will make this a little clearer. But if something happens, if we're saying this tree shouldn't be removed and this drops limbs again on a car, on a person, God forbid, or the sidewalk damages, this is not an accessible sidewalk with the lifting and the shifting of the concrete. Where does the liability lie with this? So I think that's all. One more? Yeah, that's all I have for this.
Thank you for that presentation. Are there any questions from council? Seeing none, we will go to public comment. Any folks in the room?
I guess it's me. Good meeting to come to. Oh, did no clock yet. No, with the CERT people, that was pretty cool. And the school athletics, my kids went to school here and went big into sports. All right, so, I mean, I don't even know where to, oh God, that clock looks like Squid Games. I don't even know where to start. I've lived in the house, owned the house for 32 years, raised family, what have you. I'm a tree lover. I have the two biggest trees. Can you guys hear me? I have the two biggest trees in the square block in my backyard that I care for. The front tree started out, if you saw the pictures, in the last 10 years, that tree's gone crazy. I mean, it started kind of small, not a lot of problems. Last 10 or 12 years, it's really become a big issue. I've had my water pipe, copper, it broke from the limbs, and I had to have that replaced. Sidewalk's been replaced twice. And as John said, in between the curb and the street, you couldn't see it in those photos, but you could actually see a root this big. And it's just ripping the side. It's eventually going to get into the sewer system, what have you. The walkway to my home, I don't know if you guys ever came to look at those, it's looking almost like there was a quake. It's like popping up and down, it's off from the roots. My front lawn looks hideous. I've resodded it 3 times in 30 years. I won't do it again. It just sucks the water. The roots suck the water right out of it. So I'm stuck here now and living in Albany. I can't put a lawn in my home. My house looks obviously not great because of it. And the roots are gotten bigger and bigger, even though they've cut them and what have you. I can't even put a water, saving front lawn because it drops those little round balls with little things on it. And you have to actually pick them up. You can't blow them because usually it's going to be wood chips. And I'm not going to do that either. So it's obviously caused me a lot of heartache, this tree, over the years. I just think we need to put something more sustainable in there. I'm a tree lover. I'm down with putting something other than a liquid amber sweet gum. Getting now to the liability. That tree has dropped a lot. I pick up stuff. My wife picks up stuff all the time. They put a bike route, bike path in the street right in front so that we get all the bike riders coming in. We have to clear out limbs, and they may not be huge, but they're big enough that it could get in a wheel and those little balls. But the biggest thing really is that, that our block is traveled by a lot of students. We have Albany High. I'm a block and a half above Albany High. We have Albany High students. We get the Albany Middle School students. Hundreds of kids a day walk up and down our block. We have a tree that not only drops smaller things, but as John said, that huge branch, it was sitting above the sidewalk on another branch. And I thought the tree was just dying, and John actually said, hey, that tree, that big limb is broken. It was right above the sidewalk. I mean, it's kind of a ticking time bomb. I mean, it's just a matter of time. I mean, do we have to wait until it does something really bad? I mean, it's fallen on our car, my wife's car. They had to come out in the city and use a chainsaw. A lot of branches have fallen over the years that I could actually lift myself. This was so big and heavy, they had to come out with a chainsaw and chainsaw the limb off of the car. Bike path students. I mean, what I'm really, I guess the basic point is, you know, I'm a long-term resident here, you know, homeowner. I love the city of Albany. I love trees. I don't know why we can't just put in something that's just more sustainable, something, you know, a maple. Or, I mean, I'm willing to work. Hell, I'm even willing to put money into it. This tree is like pretty much held us hostage. You know, on windy days, you know, I have to get sent out at 11:30 at night to move the car because I can't handle having another huge limb fall on my wife's car. And the city didn't pay for that tree to fix it, to pay for that car. We did. You know, I didn't even bother with the city. Luckily, it wasn't too, you know, too large of an amount. But, you know, I'm at the point now where, like, this tree is going to cause a problem eventually. It's just a matter of time. It already has. And, you know, I don't want to spend 3 or 4 years of my life in litigation. I got 20, 25 years left. I'm an old guy. I don't want to be in a courtroom, you know, just being sued because the tree fell, and with you guys, because we're in it together, because the tree fell on somebody. And literally the tree, when it fell on the car that they had to chainsaw, we were going to visit our daughter in San Francisco. It happened about 9:20 in the morning, and we were leaving at 9:45. And the tree literally fell over the passenger side, and it would have hit my wife if it was in that little 5-minute zone. So that's really where I'm at. I hope you guys will agree that it's time for it to go. Again, you know, I just want something in there that's not going to damage the city streets, the city sidewalks, my home. Just something more sustainable. I'm totally good with putting another tree in there. I would love to. Matter of fact, I will be heavily involved. So I just hope you guys find it. And the reason I didn't get approved at the pros meeting is because I was sick, and I wasn't able to come to the meeting. And I think it hopefully would have been approved if I was able to come, but I didn't want to get you guys sick. Well, not you guys weren't here. But that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys will find it in your heart so we can have sleep-full nights.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate that you were able to attend tonight and were in full health and able to come make your case.
Do you have questions for me, or do you?
Any questions from the council? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any other public comment?
No public comment.
Seeing none, I'll bring it back for council discussion.
Well, that limb that was hung up in the tree, and that's really just horrifying. So, yes, I'm certainly inclined to approve the resolution or remove the tree.
I'm inclined to move forth with that as well. I just had a quick question of clarification as I quickly glanced at this document, seeing that under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, that there's something in there within policy that between February 1st to August 15th, you can't take down trees if there's nests. Have there been determined to be any nests in the trees? Because I do now have concerns of will it be hindered if there's...
Sure. I think if it is approved, we can get it removed before February.
Okay.
I think we want to with storms and all. It's a good time to remove trees that need it. If it's in that period where bird nesting is protected, it's not that we're not allowed to remove trees, but we need to make sure that there are no nesting birds in the tree. So generally that's done by observation of the tree, look for tree feces on the ground, bird activity back and forth in the same location of the tree, that sort of thing. And if we really needed to, we could bring in a biologist who could sit there for hours and watch for this. But most trees we can see. And February to April, February to August, but the earlier part, February to April-ish, this tree is deciduous, so there's no leaves or very few leaves, so it's easy to observe that. So, yeah. They would know.
If there's no further discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Yes, I move adoption of Resolution 2023-77.
I'll second. There has been a motion and a second. City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Tiedemann,
Yes?
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mickey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for persisting.
With that, we will move to our item of new business, which is 11.1, which is a modification to City Council compensation per Senate Bill 329. Is this City Manager?
Thank you, Council. This item formalizes the two items pursuant to the recently adopted Senate Bill 329. Appreciation to the staff that wrote this report. I'm presenting it on their behalf briefly. Basically, what the city needs to do in order to facilitate the compensation increase as dictated by SB 329, which provides a city council in a city government of our size with a population up to and including 35,000 in population to receive a compensation of $950 per month. In order to facilitate that for the city budget, it is recommended that the council adopt a resolution approving amendments to provide additional appropriated funds for the upcoming 2 fiscal years, current fiscal year and next fiscal year, as well as an adoption to a resolution for updating the city salary schedule, which is required by PERS, CalPERS. Happy to answer any questions. You'll also see a comment within the staff report as provided by our city attorney with regard to the 5% CPI, which isn't necessarily a pass-through as detailed within our city charter, but I'll defer to the city attorney for questions on that.
Thank you for that report, and thanks to all the staff who did the work preparing it. Are there any questions from council?
Thank you for the report. On the last point, so the city attorney judged that the charter would need to be changed? Yes, okay.
Yes, that would be
Just
my
confirming that.
recommendation, just because it's silent on that issue.
Okay.
The way it reads, it appears to read just dealing with the flat amount and not providing for any increases. But that doesn't prohibit you from amending the charter going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from council?
So, to amend the charter, that is something that would go on the ballot.
Correct.
With that, we will go to public comment. There's nobody in the room. Is there anyone online?
No comment.
Seeing none, I'll bring back for discussion. Anyone like to start us off? Or make a motion?
Yes, I will move adoption of, Resolution 2023-78 and 2023-79.
And I will second. City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Mickey,
Yes.
Mayor Tiedemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Jordan,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. With that, we will go to our council subcommittee reports and report on appointed representation for Albany. And we will be starting with Councilmember Lopez.
So no updates yet for Giltrack Farm, other than just to give a shout out that there is free compost available on the weekends over there. As far as Alameda County Mosquito Abatement District, we'll be having another upcoming meeting next week, I believe, and hoping to have a bit more involvement. So for those unaware, because we don't usually get we don't typically get folks from the public attending these meetings. I don't know why people don't find mosquitoes exciting. But I've been having to tap in remotely due to my son's medical ordeals, and I'm happy to report, this is just my plug, that my son had another surgery and has been recovering very well, and which means I could finally start making some of these in-person events and meetings that are outside of council meeting. So I am hoping to be there in person for the next meeting and see what type of resources and advocacy we could further leverage for the city of Albany, because I do recognize and understand that being in person has a significant more impact than being there remotely.
Thank you for the update, and we're glad you'll be in person, but we're more glad that everything is going well in your family. So that's good to hear. Vice Mayor?
No updates.
No specific updates, although I guess in my role as representing Albany on the Library Advisory Commission, I will pass along that Albany Reads, which is a program of our local library branch, has started up again, and we'll be having discussions in January. It's specifically taking up the book Accountable, which some may have heard of, and it has free copies available for those who might be interested. You can go to the website, which is aclibrary.org. AAC stands for Alameda County, /Albany-Reads.
Thank you. And I will report that since our last meeting, I've had a couple meetings. First, the ABAG Housing Committee met and talked about the BAFA business plan, which will, they estimate, create about 150 to 165 million in net revenue for 10 to 15 years after the bond, so we'll allow reinvestment, which is very exciting. We had a meeting of the City Council Ad Hoc Subcommittee on Council Salaries, germane to our earlier presentation tonight. That's forthcoming. Apologies for the delay. I'm working on it, but there's been a lot else going on. We had a Ava Community Energy board meeting where we went through our audited financials. Everything looks good. We allocated a surplus, and customers will be getting a bill credit due to the surplus that Ava was running. There was an ABAG executive meeting where we approved the Priority Sites Program in REAP 2.0, which is basically investments and money for local government, as well as BAFA's equity and funding programs. And lastly, the city manager and I both attended a convening that the mayor of Berkeley held last week on the future of all debates with representatives from all the cities affected by that, organizing around trying to keep a full-service hospital available for this part of the East Bay. They said that the UC is putting up some backing to do some research and do some of the legwork and figuring out what's needed, what are the needs, what's the effect of not having a hospital, and there will be more engagement with cities like us in the future. So that's something to look out for and that we are glad to be a part of. Are there any questions on anyone's updates? Seeing none, are there any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Seeing none, we'll go to future agenda items. Does any member of the council have any future agenda items they'd like to note? Seeing none, are there any members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No.
Seeing none, we will go to announcements of city meetings and events. Ask everyone to take a look at the calendar and go to any of the meetings, as well as the more fun activities that the city manager noted in their presentation earlier. And with that, that will lead us to our adjournment. Thank you to the Vice Mayor, the members of the City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, our Deputy City Clerk. Thank you for filling in, and thank you to our normal City Clerk, who is out sick tonight, but did a lot of legwork to make this meeting happen, as she always does. We appreciate her, and every other member of staff and everyone else who joined us. We are adjourned.